What's up guys, it's Drac, and today we're going to be modifying the Adventure Force Deuce Pro. I got a little bit of a head start on this one and I wanted to make some really cool stuff for it. But before we get into some of the stuff that we made for it, we need to do a complete breakdown of it. And the silhouette's just perfect for a certain kind of paint job, if you know what I mean. But to take this one apart, you're going to go ahead and remove the front barrel. This does break down further. If you want to sand it, we can go ahead and show you what that looks like just for giggles. When you break it down like that, you can kind of see that the, this should clamshell open like that. This comes out. And you can kind of get a good idea of what the barrel material here is going to look like. It's anodized aluminum, and there's a very slight chamfer on it. I might improve the chamfering, but clearly it doesn't need a ton of help because of how the breech seems to load through. It's getting a consistent enough seal that the performance improves. So I'll go ahead and I'll set all that aside. We'll probably be doing some sort of paint job on this blaster before it's all said and done. Then you have the Deuce Pro itself, which is going to break down like so. To completely get the slide off, there's a screw on the other side. Pretty sure this is the only obverse screw, but you're going to have to pull that out, and the slide comes off completely. Got this thing that prevents you from priming twice. Then we can go ahead and start peeling off the rest of the shell, starting with the grip. Before you take the grip off, recognize that you're a dummy and that you need to prime the blaster so that you can get the plunger back so that you can remove this. If that's hard, do it with the slide on. There's no reason to white knuckle it into the system like that. Repriming it to deprime it is gonna be a chore. There we are. All right, grip off. Hey, that's pretty interesting. Wonder what we'll do with that. Once you get all the screws loose, there's one tab in the back here that kind of holds the plunger in place. You're gonna have to pop that to begin the process of opening it. And then there's one more over here. I'm trying to think if this is, I think this one pops up. Need something thinner. Went ahead and grabbed a small flathead. Pop there. All right, I think we're in business now. And this is going to come off, and you get your first good look at all the internals here. This is, of course, your safety, and by pulling it down, you can then move the trigger back to hit the catch back here. We've got a very powerful series of springs here, from the catch spring to the actual main blaster spring. This entire thing should lift out pretty easily. I guess we need to undo this one screw here so that all of the internals come out at once. He said hopefully. Nope, there's another hidden one right here. I'm looking at a slightly different angle than you guys are, so if that all seems sort of silly to you, I understand. So here's your first good look at the breech and how the pusher system works. You're actually pushing into a chamber that's a plastic barrel first, and the metal barrel is the add-on. You've got the detent here, which is what holds that front barrel on, and then you've got a rubber O-ring kind of gasket system here that allows your non-O-ringed pusher to push inside. So this pusher here presses into this gasket here. That's what gives the blaster its kind of pop style seal. Then of course there's a second rubber gasket in here, and that's the one that mates to the main barrel so that you get no air loss and pressure is maintained through the two. Now we'll go ahead and remove. Why is this sticking in here? I'm trying to remove the entire catch system from the back. I guess we'll start by taking the plunger out. Now, of note, very interesting. I'll be curious to see how stresses handle this, but we've got an oval plunger tube. We saw this in the Mark II. We've got a oval plunger pusher. We've got the barrel, or the air delivery pusher system, is built into the plunger, which does move, which is pretty exciting. I'm not sure, time will tell if that means that this area here winds up being fragile, but it's too soon to tell, at least in my testing. I've put probably 1,000 shots through mine, and it doesn't seem to show any stress marks or wear just yet. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that out, and it looks like it's just that easy. Trigger comes out. I'm gonna have to remove this entire rotation mechanism, which is a combination of the parts here that hold that in. This appears to come out like that, and that's just what the barrels or the cylinder snaps into. You can see how that works, and that's what makes that noise. And then I'm assuming I can do away with this entirely, at least for our purposes, because we're not going to be maintaining the safety. We're going to be replacing that with something a little more comfortable, a little more ergonomic. So with that said, I'm going to gut the revolver actual bit out here, the thing that switches through and changes your barrels, and then we'll start in on the part of the process where we paint this bad boy. All right, guys, so we're post-paint job here, and it should be pretty obvious what the inspiration for this one was, but I want to start throwing the components together, showing you kind of where we're at here with these, and then we'll put the internals back together and talk about some of the modifications we're going to do. All right, guys, so I'm trying to remember how to put this thing back together, but this clearly goes in here. The screw goes there. This piece should stay together because it's got the gasket that holds the kind of chambering area into the barrel. Then you put this itty bitty spring in here. This is the detent that holds that front on. And then you capture all of it by closing this like so, and then sinking 1, 2, 3 screws. So we're gonna get this part put together first. All right, so here's the barrel for the Deuce Pro. As per usual, it's got a very slight chamfering. We're gonna make that slightly more dramatic. Aluminum is a soft metal. This is a deburring tool. I should really create an affiliate link on Amazon for this thing because I use it all the time. I like it a lot, but you come in and you can just shave a larger chamfer in. Obviously doing this on a lathe is significantly more efficient, but not everybody has a lathe or the power to power a lathe. So we're gonna do it the old school way. And sure enough, that is significantly better. Be really careful with your shavings. Don't cut yourself on those. All right, guys, so we're gonna start putting the components back into the main blaster here. This was a fun little puzzle. So this obviously is the detent that holds the cylinder in place. This detent slides in here, captures the spring, sits inside like that. That seems to be where it needs to be. Then this is gonna go here. This is the tooth by which you articulate the cylinder. Then you have this whole mechanism here that fits together, but just really quick. This extension spring goes here, and then I believe connects back onto here. So in a perfect world, I would put them all together at once. So that goes where that's gonna be. This and this connect, etc. and so forth like that. This now has the ability to pull back. This is compliant. I think we're in good shape. All right, which means that we can start locking this down. All right, then this torsion spring is gonna come in like this. I'm trying to remember if this is captured by the shell. It doesn't look like it is. So that means we're gonna need one of our flat tops. All right, so obviously this is the spring that goes in here. We tried a couple of prototype springs to see if we could get a notable improvement. Notably, we tried this one. This one's not on the site, proving that there's just a cost of doing business. It's a little too short, and it's just not the right power profile for the blaster. So once again, it looks like the spring that this thing comes with is the ideal spring for it. So we're gonna go ahead, take advantage of the captive catch system here, put that together like so, sandwich that back into the blaster like that. Then we're gonna take this along with its trigger spring and set that in like so, and then that should fit like that. We should theoretically be in good shape. Everything seems compliant with itself. I do want to mention as we're about to button this one up that hated the safety on this thing. So we developed this one, which is an incredibly low profile. This one, if you look, sits extremely flush with the shell there and just deletes it entirely. And then we decided that wasn't quite as nice, so we're gonna ship both in our kit as an option, but we developed this one as well, and this one kind of smooths out that entire process and fits the curvature of the grip a little bit better. So those drop in like so, and with that, we should be able to close this guy up. We need to obviously add this part back. Let's push this back just a wee bit so that fits in like so, and there. And then obviously, as we put the slide back together, we're going to have to ingratiate this along with the pin into the top so that we have the slide lock back. All right, so with that pin in there like that, we should be in pretty good shape to start buttoning it back together. Let's drop the main body on top first, then we'll start talking about some of our other options. Don't forget to grab your other short screw. The really short boys go into the slide, which connects them to the plunger, actually, and they go on both sides. Just make sure that you tack those in. All right, guys, so the last part of this mod guide that I want to discuss before we button it up and take it outside and show it off is that we've improved perhaps the weakest part of the Deuce Pro, which is the stock cylinders have this retention point in the back. Well, it does an okay job. You do have the ability to lose a dart even while in the holster. The dart can fall out. The retention is different on different darts. And we were like, given that the cylinder serves only to hold the dart and then push them into the firing chamber, there's no reason that retention couldn't be a little bit tighter, a little bit snugger. So we went with the old Springer barrel fit, and it turns out it's perfect. So we designed not just new cylinders, which we can print in a variety of our colors, but also strictly superior cylinders that are just as compliant with the space as the original. So that's gonna snap in like so, rotate through, click, boom. And so let's go ahead and take this upstairs and show you what we got. This thing is so cool. Definitely reminds me of some straight up Destiny hand cannon vibes, right? I mean, it is sweet. I'm thoroughly enjoying the Deuce Pro. I like that there's a Pro revolver out there in general, but I don't know, I can't get over it. I'm happy with our kit. I think that if nothing else, having the reloads on deck is pretty sweet. Obviously, we tried to maintain all of the modularity of the system, and it would be remiss if I didn't put the actual cylinder that this one's going to be displayed with. If you're curious about the pseudo hunter poncho thing, it's a Gabber Create original, a fellow Atlanta maker, Atlantan. I think we're. So I would be remiss if I didn't showcase the blaster with our special glow-in-the-dark cylinder here. I've only got one pocket in this special poncho, and while it's got hunter poncho vibes, right, it's actually it's part of my End War getup. I'm excited to see you guys all at End War this year, coming up this weekend. Very stoked, but we made the glow-in-the-dark cylinders, and we finished the Ace of Spades, and we thought that would all look together, and then this showed up. So a fellow Atlanta cosplayer, maker, cool person, goes by Gabber Create. We saw them at Star Wars Celebration out in Anaheim and had to pick up the poncho because the poncho is honestly, it goes with everything. It goes with Destiny costumes. It goes with Star Wars costumes. You can go to Waffle House at 3 in the morning and just blend in with the local flora and fauna of Atlanta, right? I mean, it's a pretty great little piece. I think that my one, I guess, downside to the Deuce Pro is it seems like no matter what you do, you have to be pretty deliberate in terms of how you prime and chamber. You just want to be careful to make sure that you're not pulling so hard that that mechanism inside over-rotates, over-spins. Now, the good news is once you're kind of one in the chamber set up, you could throw it in the holster and you'd be in great shape in that sense. But overall, I really like the silhouette of the Deuce Pro. The price point can't be beat, and I'm sure that somebody will do a better version of an Ace of Spades, but it really let us play with some of that masking fluid and get some of those details in there. I'm sure that the B-roll for this one is going to look absolutely sweet. As always, it mean the world to me if you guys would check out our kit over on foamproshop.com. There's not a lot of stuff to do for this one other than, you know, I think that we dramatically improved the overall grip and feel with our multi-pack of safety deletes, and then the cylinders are the real winner here. The fact that the darts don't drop out of them is really nice. They maintain the ease of loading through the side slot, and then of course just having a plethora of them at your disposal. I think that we'll be selling them individually. We'll be selling them in a 3-pack. You can get them however you want to get them, but they should be relatively inexpensive despite the fact that it took us a while to get all of the tolerances and the fit and finish exactly right. So we worked pretty hard on the cylinders. The safety delete, we played with a few of the ergonomics with, but overall, we just wanted to show off this sweet Destiny paint job. It's pretty slick. Chicken won't stop singing the Ace of Spades in the workshop because he's never played Destiny, but he's a big hard rock fan. So that's our mod guide. That's our kit. A good look at the internals and how this guy ticks. Thank you guys so much for watching. Check us out on foamproshop.com. Check us out on Foam Pro Shop's store on Etsy, except don't buy anything there because it's more expensive because Etsy is a bad platform. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Much love. Blast on. Drac out.